Hello, and welcome to the second season of the IT's Her Future podcast. This series is aimed at giving an insight into various careers in the technology space that you might be unfamiliar with and hear from guests who work in these areas. I'm your host, Neve. This month, we'll be discussing the area of cloud with our guest, Namratha Honnegowda. Namratha, would you like to introduce yourself and just give us a bit of a rundown as to your background?
Hello, I'm Namratha. I'm based in Langley. We are a family of 4, and I've got 2 young girls aged 8 and 5. I've been with KPMG for nearly 2 years now, working as a senior Azure technical architect. I've spent 17 years in IT, and I come from a development background. I've spent most of the time around integration using Microsoft technologies. I started off as a developer, then I worked as a consultant, and I've spent the recent 4 to 5 years in cloud. When it comes to cloud, I've been working within the Microsoft Azure space, helping our clients and organizations to enable digital transformation by adopting cloud-first strategy.
So now that we've gotten to know you a bit better, can you help us define the cloud?
Cloud in simple terms is everything you can access remotely over internet instead of locally on your computer. Cloud computing enables organizations to access and store information on demand without managing their own physical devices or IT infrastructure. The computing resources like servers, data storage, networking capabilities, they're all hosted at a remote data center managed by a cloud service provider. You rent these resources for a monthly subscription fee or on a pay-as-you-go basis. Some of the benefits of cloud computing is that it allows companies to minimize the upfront IT infrastructure cost of purchasing and managing your own infrastructure. By renting cloud services, companies will be paying for only what they use, which allows them greater scalability and flexibility based on their needs. Cloud computing enables innovations and accelerates development by making it easy to test new ideas and designs without having to worry about the hardware. It also enables better collaboration since you can access data anywhere, anytime you need. Some of the major cloud providers we have currently are AWS by Amazon, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, GCP, Alibaba, IBM, and Salesforce. According to the recent reports, AWS has a market share of around 33%, followed by Azure at 23% and GCP 11%.
So as you've just mentioned, can you explain a little bit more as to what the 3 cloud computing service types are?
There are 3 most common models of cloud computing services. The first one is the infrastructure as a service, which is the cloud computing service offering where you rent all the IT infrastructure, including virtual machines, servers, networks, operating systems, storage, and so on from a third-party cloud provider on a pay-as-you-go basis or on a monthly subscription fee. The main advantage of using infrastructure as a service is that it helps users to avoid the cost and complexity of purchasing and managing the physical servers upfront. Then we have got platform as a service, which we call as PaaS. PaaS is a cloud service model that gives ready-to-use development environment where developers can build, run, and manage their applications. PaaS enables you to create an application quickly without managing the underlying infrastructure, which are often very expensive. Then we have got software as a service, SaaS, which provides you with a complete product that is run and managed by the service provider. These are usually end user applications like Salesforce, Microsoft Office 365, where you do not have to manage the security patching and software upgrades. You only need to think about how you'll use that software.
Thank you for elaborating a bit more as to what the cloud is. So what are some typical roles that one could have within the cloud?
The roles within the cloud will be spread across these models, which we just spoke about. Some of them to name are the cloud or the application developer. A cloud developer is one who designs and develops cloud applications, services, and products. This can include everything from a backend application, front-end, web app, a full stack developer, or a data and application integration. You would need programming skills like Java, JavaScript, C#, .NET, Python, and so on. So basically, they use PaaS services to develop solutions in cloud. Then we have got security architect and engineers. When it comes to cloud, security is one of the major concerns most of the customers will have when they're moving to cloud. Security engineers are responsible for building secure cloud-native applications and implementing security controls for cloud, like access control, data encryption, and network security. Then we've got network architect and engineers who are responsible for designing and implementing the network infrastructure like virtual private networks, routing, and data communication networks. They ensure that the network infrastructure meets the security and compliance requirements. Then we've got DevOps engineers who are someone who works with developers and the IT teams to facilitate the code release, which includes continuous automation and deployment. It requires a deep knowledge of the software development process and life cycle and expertise in various automation tools for building continuous integration, development, and continuous deployment pipelines, which we refer as CI/CD pipelines, which are at the core of DevOps. Then we have got cloud solution architects who oversee the company's overall cloud computing strategy, like the cloud adoption plans, management, deployment, and monitoring. As and when you gain more experience, you progress from developer and engineer roles to technical architect and solution architect roles, where you need to have an in-depth knowledge of the cloud services to establish best practices and solve complex business problems. Then we've got data engineers. This role will be touched on in more detail in the data episode, so look out for that.
Great, thank you. And you've just briefly mentioned DevOps while talking about the roles. So for our listeners who don't know, can you quickly explain what DevOps is?
DevOps, as the name itself suggests, is the combination of development and operations. DevOps is a set of practices and tools to enable organizations' ability to deliver applications and services faster than the traditional software development process. By adopting DevOps culture, you're encouraging a more collaborative environment at all stages of the development cycle and removing the barriers between the traditionally siloed teams. So, some of the DevOps practices which are widely used are continuous integration, continuous delivery, automation, infrastructure as code, and monitoring. Some of the benefits of DevOps are delivering features and updates more quickly and frequently. Practices like continuous integration and continuous delivery can ensure the quality of application and infrastructure changes, so you can reliably deliver at a more rapid pace. By using automation tools to automate your build, release, and testing process, it increases the efficiency of the team and accelerates the time to market. So, DevOps is essentially a change in mindset for the IT culture, and adopting a DevOps strategy enables business to increase their operational efficiencies and deliver better products faster and to become a high performing team.
Thank you for outlining some of the roles within cloud. So, in your opinion, what are some of the soft skills a person should develop to be successful?
For people who are getting into cloud, I would say adaptability is one of the key soft skill. Cloud computing is a fast evolving industry. The technology we are using today may be obsolete tomorrow. So, adaptability is handling this rapidly changing work environment. It's very important to maintain your technical skills by continuing to educate yourself by self learning, training, certifications, etc. Stepping outside your comfort zone is one way to increase your adaptability, and it allows you to take on new roles and responsibilities and able to react quickly to changing strategies within the organization. Another important soft skill I would say is persistence and resilience. It can be frustrating at times where solutions don't work first time, especially when there are deadlines involved. And if you're new to the technology, then it'll need a lot of learning and dedication to work towards that goal. So being resilient and adapting to changes help overcome those challenges, learn from the mistake, and take away those experiences positively, and you can use them to further your progress.
I think that's some really great advice. In addition to the soft skills, what are some more technical skills that you might need for a role in cloud?
Since cloud computing is a very broad area, the technical skills you need to possess depends on the type of role. If you're looking into a developer or DevOps engineer roles, then you need to have knowledge of the most common programming and scripting languages which are used within cloud computing like Java, JavaScript, Node.js, .NET, Python, PowerShell, and Bash. It's also essential to have knowledge on some of the tools which enable you to write these code and version control like the Visual Studio, Visual Studio Code, Xcode, and GitHub. These skills are required if you are building and modernizing your applications in cloud. On the infrastructure side, you would need infrastructure as a code like Terraform, which is a platform agnostic tool where it can be used across different cloud providers like AWS, Azure, and so on, or platform-specific languages like Bicep, which is used only on Microsoft Azure to deploy and manage resources. For network and security engineer roles, you need knowledge around the security and networking concepts and technologies like the firewalls, the intrusion detection prevention systems, and virtual private networks, and implementing the access control and data encryption along with the programming and scripting skills to automate the security tasks.
Great, thank you very much. To wrap up the podcast, I'd like to end with some practical advice. So what would you say to either someone at entry level looking to enter cloud or perhaps someone considering a career change?
I would say the first step is to choose the right cloud platform and the certification path. There are multiple cloud providers out there you could get certified with. And whichever you choose, start with the cloud fundamental certification and work your way up to get specialized in a certain area. For example, if you're looking at a developer role, then start with the fundamentals and then the developer associate certificates. And if you are aiming for a solution architect certification, then you need to pass a series of exams around administration and designing solutions. So when choosing the certification, look out for training that includes hands-on exercises. Most of the learning sites, for example, Microsoft Learning Path for Azure, it has got a sandbox and lab environments where you can implement what's learned. So this provides practical experience and helps to develop relevant skills and gain confidence when you go on to work on actual projects.
Thank you so much, Namratha, for talking with us today. It was great to hear your insights, and I hope those listening have learnt a lot about the area of cloud. If you think a career in tech or within KPMG is for you, please go to our website, www.kpmgcareers.co.uk. If you wish to reach out to IT's Her Future to ask any questions, or if you have any topics you think we should cover, the email is itsherfuture@kpmg.co.uk. Thank you for listening.